Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez.
From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Hey, everybody. I think I threw everyone off at the station because I have both. I have two of my fill-in hosts guest co-hosting today. So I think I threw everything off. Dwayne Kennedy, Emmy Award-winning Dwayne Kennedy will be at the Lincoln Lodge tonight. And, oh, you have to go. Get out. I'm kidding. Tonight and tomorrow.
I'm on.
Lincoln Lodge. Go to Lincoln Lodge's website and get some tickets. He is Emmy Award-winning for his work on the United Shades of America. And I like to geek folks out. So we'll geek somebody out later. See if, I don't know, maybe they're not a fan of the show Seinfeld. We have in studio with us Ken Mejia Beal, treasurer for Youth Outlook.
Hello.
And my guest co-host on election night. We've seen each other once since then.
Yes, we have.
We haven't recovered. Have we? No.
I still cry.
Are there things that happen? Because I shouldn't tell people I did this. My wearing the same jacket from the election night of 2016 has no bearing. Stop! It's not my fault.
Your unlucky jacket.
Yeah, like you should have not said that. This is all your fault. Oh God! This possible. Is all your fault.
Is it all my fault?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
It's a lot of people's fault.
Well, it's a lot. I mean, we're just going to throw that little factor into the...
And then Patty's white suit jacket. I did. I bought a white pantsuit for 2016. Yes, Dwayne.
Oh, really?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, see? It was a thing.
You were planning on celebrating at the disco.
Because
well, it's a suffragette thing, I think.
Suffragette, right? Yeah, women were wearing. So remember, at one of the State of the Unions after she lost, a lot of the women in Congress wore white pantsuits in honor of suffragettes because they wore white when they were protesting and marching and getting arrested and all those things. So that was white. There was a white pantsuit nation online. I did not think that Hillary was going to win for a long time.
I didn't either.
Yeah. I did, man. You say that, and you always say how she was so unliked.
Yeah.
Which I had no idea. I thought
really.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, a lot of people. No, a lot of people
don't like her at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've discussed this a million trillion times, but I still don't understand why. Really.
I can explain this because there's a really good book, and I can't think of it right now. But what the Republicans have done well is they do something. They go for the long-term damage. They have damaged that woman's reputation since the 90s. So when you talk to people now and you say, oh, what about Hillary? They say, oh, I don't trust her.
Yep.
What does she do to make you not trust her? They can't answer. It's so deeply ingrained
There's something about her.
that this is a bad They've done that super well with her.
Right. Right, that's the thing I don't understand is how do you just let what somebody says about somebody rather than you just investigating for yourself? To me, it always comes back to, for me, is just misogyny and just sexism, and it's always easy, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm saying so you can always get the ball rolling against a woman based on anything.
Well, and the one thing that the many things, but the one thing I've said this hundreds of times as a black man in America, when I go into the grocery store, I make sure to smile because it makes you appear likable, and as a person of color, as a woman, you have to be likable. The problem but Hillary is a natural introvert. She's incredibly smart, and I don't think she focuses on being likable. So that also played against her, where if you are a woman and you come across not maternal, there's a negative connotation to that.
Yes.
And it's very and I don't ask me to explain it, but there's a negative thing of, well, she's not a good mom, or she can't be maternal. She's not warm and caring. Yep. So she's a bad person. And it's like, well, don't you have a mom that can hug you? Why do you want to hug this woman? Like, hug your mom. Like, find another mother figure.
And if that is the motive, then the solution is there is no solution, because now you're trying to appeal to people's pathologies.
Yes.
And you can't make a psychopath. You can't endear yourself to a psychopath.
Right. Correct.
You know, because even
you go.
because it was the same thing with Kamala. It was whatever it was with Kamala, it was Kamala. I always go back to the example. Remember when Elizabeth Warren was running, and remember during the campaigns, she had a plan. Whatever the issue was, she had a plan.
She had a plan.
And then that became the knock against her.
Yes.
She seems to have a plan for everything.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're
She's too smart.
She's
too smart.
Whatever the woman is she's this, she's that, she's not enough of this. So again, you can't appease psychopaths.
No.
It is mind-numbing. I was just talking to a friend of mine about this because, okay, two things. One, I think we've talked about my role. So I have a small recurring role on Chicago Fire, and it wasn't just for since 2015.
That's so awesome.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it is. But the role I auditioned for was like the sister of a guy who has been diagnosed with something, and she's desperate and said whatever, right? And I went auditioned for that, and they called me back and they said, "We want you to read for a nurse." And so I read for the nurse. I got the part, and then I came back. And the fourth time I was there, I was sitting in the chair, and they had a picture of me from the first time I auditioned, and I had a snarl on my face, and I realized that every time I came in, I was the mean nurse. I was the nurse that cleared the room. There's a picture of me like squaring off on this big guy, right? And then so I said something to the director. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "The other women who play nurses are a little more nurturing, like a little sweeter or whatever." And like so, I'm the mean, and it hit me. Like I never I don't see what other people get from me, like that. Like to your point about I don't get it about Hillary. Like, I don't get how I elicit that. And my friend Dan Z, who might be listening, he can call in and attest to this. I used to be the assistant manager in high school of a laser tag place, Laser Zone. And some of the guys just hated me. And one guy said I was an abortion that survived when I was 16 years old. But but when I saw that picture of myself on the ledge, I was like, oh my God, because people tell me that. They'll tell me I'm intimidating. They're afraid to say something to me because they don't know how I'll react. Although I did kind of come in hot swearing a few minutes ago before the show. So.
You're fine. Yeah. That is actually a pet peeve of mine because I've heard that a few times. Like, Kim, you're so intimidating.
Yes.
My response to that is, no, you're intimidated.
Yes.
I have done nothing.
Right.
Yes.
I'm just here in all my blackness.
I know, but when we have
in my resting angry face, I cannot control
You don't look
how.
angry to me. You got a very friendly face.
He does it.
Thank you, Dwayne.
I want to squeeze his cheeks.
Yeah, face is all round.
I love you guys.
Why? I mean, like what?
Merry Christmas, Ken.
But this, but that goes back to Dwayne's point. You can't appease psychopaths.
No.
Like there's nothing we can do to change that. We can't individually, like at my former job, right, where the guys all felt that they should be radio hosts,
right?
Yeah,
and would sabotage my show in different ways. Like I can't. Like at some point, you just go, okay, am I crazy? And by their actions help make me crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you drive yourself crazy trying to fit into the opposite of what you are.
Yeah.
Because at one point I was just walking around the world with this giant smile on my face, like I was on way too much Prozac or something. Like, what's wrong with this guy? It's like, I just want to be happy and liked.
Yeah.
I think you attest that I carry that same energy. Just like me, right? It's the scariest people that want to be liked.
True.
Yeah. You can see a little bit of that. Please like me. Please like me.
Just or I'll kill you.
Yes, that's right.
No.
Disclaimer. We will not kill you.
So we were supposed to have some other guests in tonight, and then I was sent a request to not discuss, with them, the healthcare, the CEO from United Healthcare with them, and I was just like, I don't know if it's going to come up before and after. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure it comes up before.
Okay.
But I because they're not coming.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, a lot of people are now sharing so many heartbreaking stories. I mean, like, and sort of we all knew it was there, right? You have one guy who said that he and his wife had been working for decades. They put away their savings, and then his wife was diagnosed with cancer, wiped out their savings. They're now in debt. They don't know how long they'll have to work. And we know that those stories are there. We talk about them when we have elections. And only then, really.
Our healthcare system is
horrible.
Thank you. I was like, I cannot say that word on the air.
I have my
horrible. Thank you. But no, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It is horrible.
It's against health and care.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's a sick care system.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, we were talking about this the other day, and someone came in and said it's actually the insurance companies that are, and United Healthcare, even though it's called United Healthcare, is an insurance company. But then they're sort of gaming the system with each other. Then you have the bureaucrats or the administrators in between, denying or deciding what something costs arbitrarily, and
it's impossible for the average person. Because what happens is you talk to the insurance, because I have friends all over the place. So I talk to my friends in the insurance companies about how they're the devil, and they say, well, no, it's the government. But then I talk to my friends in the government, they're like, no, it's the insurance. Then you go back and they're like, no, it's the pharmaceutical. So all of y'all keep kicking the ball around.
Yeah. Right.
And I need medicine. And I would like to be able, like, if I have a heart attack right now, please call Uber. Do not call 911. I cannot afford an ambulance. That's a problem. Yeah. So while you guys are kicking the ball around, people are dying. Or they get so frustrated with the system, they go, maybe I don't need that colonoscopy.
Right.
Like, maybe I just don't. Never mind.
I'll postpone that checkup.
Never mind.
I'll walk it off.
Yeah.
Well, and because I've been doing some research on what happens if RFK Jr. becomes the head of the HHS, the Health and Human Services Agency, the number of people who will have less coverage, right, and also how much more money they have to spend in order to go to the doctor. To your point, they will put it off. And then now we're catching up with late diagnosis cancers, with heart diseases.
Which is more expensive.
Yeah. And the same,
it's more expensive.
Right. Even with dental care, the way they were able to separate dental care from health care
is a crime.
It really is, because if you don't get your exam done this year, then next year maybe you're having a root canal. Maybe then you also have gum disease that leads to heart disease and other organ issues.
Yes.
And
it's the way we've separated healthcare.
Yeah.
The mental health care from the dental, from the vision. It's like words are just coming to my head. But it should be all one thing.
Right.
Number one.
Yes.
Right.
Number two, all of these things lead to other things. So if you have bad dental, you can have bad heart.
Right.
Bad other stuff. If you have bad mental health care, nothing else matters.
Right.
Because without your mental health, you are up the creek.
Right.
And a lot of folks, your eye exams capture other things like diabetes and I know diabetes is a big one, with something with the cones in the back of your eyes or something. But my point is this all comes together and we keep separating it to hurt people and make everything more complicated.
Right. And it makes it easier for them to pass the blame on to the other entities. So, but they're all complicit. So
everybody.
It's just a corrupt system, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that I remember when I do believe that especially when I was running for office, I would talk about my son with severe disabilities, and people were like, "Oh, she just, her only issue is disabilities." No, that's everybody. It's because it's also healthcare.
Yes.
And when the incumbent, continued and won, and then I was at some of these like group Zoom meetings because we were all doing Zoom meetings. Someone asked her about healthcare in Illinois, and she's like, "Well, there just isn't really much of an appetite to really change things." And so be that person, like with your hair on fire behind those doors, because a lot of our electeds take money from organizations from Blue Cross Blue Shield, from United Healthcare, whether it's at the state level or the federal level, and that will continue to hamper our ability to have access to safe and affordable health care. Because we look at these, again, the Make America Great thing. How great is America when you're afraid to get sick and you might lose your home and you
get sick,
retirement?
you can lose everything.
Everything. Yeah. So it sounds so great.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was depressing, but no, it's the truth. You can lose everything.
Well,
everything.
Right.
Everything.
That's real.
Let's take a break here. Well, maybe we'll change topics. We've got some texts coming in. I also want to talk a little bit about some of the conversations that Joan was having, because Garrick, one of our listeners, sent me a list of there's so many more elections coming up just in the next year, because we always talk about these top line. Obviously, the presidential races and the governor's races are the ones we pay attention to, but not the school board races, the library board races.
And those are coming,
right? The county races.
Yeah.
So let's take a break here and talk about some of those topics. And what I heard during that show about, and intellectually, again, we kind of know it, but we don't, unless we're talking about it, it becomes sort of just goes in the ether, and we don't realize how much of an impact elections have year to year. Let's take a break here. We're in studio with guest co-host Ken Mejia Beal, treasurer for Youth Outlook.
There you go.
And we'll talk some more about his organization when we come back as well. And he's also a newly inducted into the Illinois LGBTQ+.
The alphabets.
Yeah,
I'm one of those alphabet people.
You know what's funny? Is it better to say them really fast or to slow down? LGBTQ+. See, that's not great. That was weird. The Q was like LGBTQ+.
Yes.
Hall of Fame for the state of Illinois. Congratulations again.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Dwayne Kennedy, Emmy Award winner for his work. And he's been on Seinfeld.
Right.
The episode, do you watch Seinfeld?
No.
We talked about this.
Yes.
It was too mean, right?
Well, we talked
about young too.
Yes, and that's why I was like, don't do this again. Don't make me say no again.
Dwayne knows I don't like Seinfeld. Both entities. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland. So it's not going to be at work for him. He's not looking for me to open for him. Let's take a break here.
Tom Hartman.
Lori in Ocala, Florida. Hey, Lori, what's up?
Hi, Tom. First, I just want to say thank you for being here for all of us. It's really important. It's almost like having a friend there that you know you can listen to and talk to. And I've listened to you since Air America, and I really appreciate you today.
Well, thank you, Lori.
The Tom Hartman Radio Program. Weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter. This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
What do we do with the girl next door? She's got no choice like she did before. What do we do with the farmer's daughter? The court took away what her mama fought for. Ask the good old boys drinking whiskey and rye. What do we do with Miss American Pie? Let's keep her barefoot and pregnant and down on the farm, cooking in the kitchen and cleaning out the barn, praying in church, credit to her gender, popping out babies like a Pez dispenser. 9 out of 10 evangelicals would agree. Let's keep her barefoot and pregnant like the good Lord meant her to be.
There's no better way to defend democracy in front of your fascist Republican friends than with a cold progressive beer from the Minocqua Brewing Company of Wisconsin. So head on over to Beer on the Wall in Schaumburg, Doty Liquors in Elmhurst, Captain Jack's Beverages in Worth, or the Wilmette Market to pick up a 4-pack or couple 2-tree of MAGA Tears IPA today. Don't forget to drink and vote responsibly.
Hi, everybody. We probably should come back and do the show. Hi. I was out there making some tea for me and Dwayne Kennedy. Dwayne Kennedy will be I want to make sure your throat is good to go for your show this evening at the Lincoln Lodge over here on Milwaukee Avenue. Not here on Milwaukee Avenue.
I want to be able to enunciate and clearly speak when I'm denouncing the system.
Boom, boom, boom.
What's the show time tonight? Is it 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock tonight at the Lincoln Lodge, and tomorrow night's show as well, I believe. And Ken Mejia Beal is in studio with us. He is a treasurer for Youth Outlook. Tell folks a little bit about the work that you do at Youth Outlook.
So what we do at Youth Outlook, we empower young people that are LGBTQ, 12 and older, give them resources, give them other people their own age that they can talk to, bounce ideas off of. And what I love is we also provide those same resources to parents, because a lot of parents go through a process, especially with trans kids, where I think it's natural to grieve the loss of what could have been, and we don't talk about that enough. So we give them a safe space to say, hey, this is the life I wanted for my kid. I love my kid, but I need help dealing with whatever that is. And that's what I love about working with Youth Outlook is we acknowledge, hey, this might not be easy for you, but you will be okay.
And for folks who are like, what are they grieving? I mean, when you are starting your family, you have all these dreams of what your children are going to do. They're going to play baseball. They're going to go be the valedictorian of their school or whatever. They're going to get into a nice relationship, get married, and have kids, right? So for the majority of parents, they think that's what it's going to be. I mean, most people, almost everybody who has a family imagines that. And I remember when I don't know if I was pregnant or when my boys were little, I'm like, it would be nice to go shopping with a gay son. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, some of us are like,
it's different for, I mean.
It's different for everybody.
It's different. Like for my dad, it was my sexuality was never a problem for my dad. My dad's issue was I somehow turned into a Cubs fan. And that was...
Yeah, now, wait a minute.
That was like, whoa.
Get out of my house.
Right now. Get out.
A Cubs fan.
Get out. But everybody's different. But he, I mean, to make it smaller, he had anticipated having a son that he could go to Sox games with and, talk smack about the Cubs with. And then here I come.
Oh, man.
And it was like, oh no! How are we going to do this crosstown classic now?
Right.
And it's like we're still going to do it.
Which was harder, coming out as gay or coming out as a Cubs fan?
Cubs fan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely Cubs fan. When he passed in March, and what he left me all of his sock stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
To stick it to me one more time because he knew I would keep it because I love my dad. Yeah. So I have all his sock stuff in my house, just like, you win, Dad. Congratulations.
Oh, man.
But it is a process. It is a grieving process. And I think for young people, they are not mature enough to realize that their parents are grieving. So it comes across as, my mom hates me or my dad hates me versus they had all these expectations and I'm not measuring.
And some people are scared. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Yeah. I would imagine, too, grieving the parent or whomever is just not only the projections that you had for your child, but also grieving what you thought your child was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't have children, but I can imagine that from the moment they're born, you have all these dreams and ideas and
maybe even an assumption.
Yeah.
Assumptions, I think, are a big part of it too.
Yeah. And then sometimes they measure up and sometimes they don't. But I think as a parent, you take it personally sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. I'm thinking about, I remember I used to get in fights with my dad. My dad had a very caustic way of talking about various groups of people. And when he would use language that I felt was unnecessary, I would say, I'm gay, Dad. And he'd be like, come on. Come on, you're just messing with me, right? I'm like, maybe. I'm still in college.
Right. Anything could happen.
It's Thursday.
I was tempted when I used to bartend at a place on Lincoln Avenue, Grizzlies Lodge, and this woman would come in and flirt with me and ask, and I was just like, I haven't really thought about it. You're the first to approach me.
Yeah.
I never followed through. Oh. No.
Did she? Well, I'll just leave you with a brochure.
It was so funny. She was beautiful. Yeah, the brochure.
We don't talk about the brochure. It's a part of the agenda that we don't talk about. Dwayne, you were supposed to tell me.
Now my gay friends are like, you mean I had a shot? She'd come in and she would put her feet up, like not with her feet on the bar, but like in a way where, like, I'm on a stool, right? So she was gorgeous. Anyway, let me get to Jim. Hey, Jim, what's on your mind, my friend? You're on with me, Ken, and Dwayne. What's up?
I hope you have a terrific weekend, gentlemen, and Patty.
You as well.
I was thinking about the kid who's born today, lucky enough to be born on Friday the 13th today. What is the Republican Party going to look like by the time he's ready to vote? If it's this decrepit now, especially Christie was talking about liberals and so on and so forth. Now, this party has been, in American history anyway, it's been the Whig Party, for the know-nothings, and the fighting Republicans, and Lincoln was successfully elected in 1860, and they hung on to that moniker. So I imagine with Trump pulling off this bizarre trick that he did, they'll probably call it the Trump Party or the MAGA Party. So a kid born today will have the opportunity to vote for the MAGA Party when they come into the age of voting age.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are very few Lincoln Republicans. There's no Lincoln Republicans because we're called Democrats, and there aren't any Reagan Republicans left, really.
They're few and far between.
Yeah, they were some of the ones that kind of. I mean, I guess.
And that wasn't even good. People always venerate Reagan like he was horrible.
I mean, he was very horrible. Much so. Yeah. And that's why when people talk about him, it's like, I don't. Maybe you saw a different movie.
Yeah,
the movie I saw was really bad.
Right.
Dwayne, if I could, you could trace the billionaire class to Reagan.
Yep.
The billionaires started to come out of the woodwork after Reagan left office, and homeless people.
Right.
Just remember this: HUD housing was passed in 1964 by Lyndon Johnson. 300,000 units, affordable units, were supposed to be built every year in perpetuity. When Reagan came in office, he cut it down to 50,000. So you lost 250,000 affordable apartments for 8 years.
Yeah.
So think about the millions of people who were left out in the cold.
Right. That.
And the rise of the. I never saw so many billionaires. I mean, now you can't throw a rock without hitting a billionaire in the head. You know what I mean?
He destroyed the unions.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
He was horrible, man.
He did everything by astrology, and you had. The religious right in his corner, for what reason, God only knows, but he did everything by astrology. He never went to church ever. But that's not even the point. The point is, where are they going now? And he was horrible.
Right.
This guy is 10 times worse than Reagan because he's deliriously nuts. At least Reagan picked a couple of people who could, they could get a few sentences together. This guy's got a cabinet that's absolutely out of the atmosphere. It's out of this world. You
know what, Jim, is, in my opinion, Donald Trump is the inevitability of where things started with Goldwater and how they got progressively worse, more conservative, more racist, more sexist. So Donald Trump is then the inevitable result of that. And he just comes along and just he does things in its essence. He's not subtle about the racism or the sexism. He's he's blatant with it.
Mm-hmm. Right. You're exactly right, because it's a strategy to beat the other party. I mean, let's face it.
Right.
That's what their business is doing, to beat each other. But that's been their strategy, to use racism, then abortion about the 90s and snuck in. Different strategies to use. But nothing about, you're talking about health care. I mean, our health care system is ridiculous compared to the European health care.
Or Canada's.
Anywhere.
And think of Canada. And when you guys, they said this the other day, Patty, when you go into a hospital room today or a hospital and look at the person across the desk or the patient, think of what Kamala Harris said, that health care is a right.
Yep.
It's a right. Mm-hmm. And we voted for a guy that talks about nothing but the Cadillac health care plan. They've always argued that. Why should a billionaire get the same health care as a peasant? Well, but they're both human beings.
Right.
They're both human beings. And medicine can only go so far anyway. I mean, whatever technology, whatever medicine you use, just because you're loaded doesn't mean the medicine is going to work any better if you're homeless. You know what I mean?
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, but anyway, you guys, nice talking to you guys. You guys have a great weekend. I hope it's a restful weekend.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Jim. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation when we come back. We're live in studio with Mejia, Beal, Treasurer for Youth Outlook. And what's the website for folks to get more information?
youth-outlook.org.
And Dwayne Kennedy will be at the Lincoln Lodge this evening. You can go to I keep forgetting what the Lincoln Lodge's website. I saw our good friend Kelsey Huff doing a video.
Oh, Kelsey.
I love her. Have you seen her while you've been there?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm running to Kelsey. She's nice.
She's one of the greatest human beings out there. It is at 2040 North Milwaukee Avenue, and that's thelincolnlodge.com, thelincolnlodge.com. Dwayne will be performing tonight at 8 and tomorrow night at 8. So get your tickets and go see him. And tell him that you love hearing him on the show. Say hi to him in the lobby or something. Or not. He might be hiding. We don't know. I don't know what after show habits are. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation when we come back. In a little bit, we're going to check in with Merril Miller, manager of the Jefferson Park Sunday Market, with some information about this weekend's holiday market at the Irish American Heritage Center. It's the holiday season. Oh, that was terrible. God, don't let me do that again. Bye.
Think Theory Radio.
We enter this world of hyper-reality. In case you didn't know, hyper-reality is the inability of consciousness to distinguish reality from a simulation of reality, especially in technologically advanced societies. The action of hyper-reality is to desire reality in an attempt to achieve that desire to fabricate a false reality that is to be consumed as real.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820. You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Hey, it's Patty here, reminding you that Monaco Brewing Company's progressive beers like Maga Tears IPA, Biden Beer, and the LGBTQ-inspired Love Wins Fruited Sour are now available at Chicagoland locations like Armanetti Wine and Spirits in Woodstock, Beer Shop in Oak Park, McLean Liquors in South Elgin, Beer on Central in Evanston, and My Buddies, a pride-friendly bar on Clark in Chicago. Don't forget to drink and vote responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez on WCPT 820.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm having a wonderful Friday because I get to hang out with two of my favorite people in studio, Ken Mejia Beal, who is the treasurer for Youth Outlook, and I'm so glad to have you in studio. And,
I'm so happy to be here with both of you. Huge fan.
By the way, you were also wearing that on election night. Now, do you consider that to be a cursed T-shirt?
So let me be clear. The one I wore on election night was gray.
Oh, was it?
I have 17 of these shirts.
Have you burned the gray one? I'm kidding. I'm not burning my jacket.
I'm not burning anything because I didn't do it.
Right.
And I didn't wear it in 2016.
Because I wore the jacket both times. And at the DNC, by the way. The DNC was great.
It was a good time.
It was a very good time. You need to go to the Lincoln Lodge website, thelincolnlodge.com, to purchase your tickets to see Dwayne Kennedy tonight for his 8 o'clock show, tomorrow for his 8 o'clock show as well, if you can't go tonight. And it's a great venue, a lot of really wonderful rooms and comedians performing there. And he'll also be on tour starting in February with Kamau Bell, including a stop here in Chicago. We may as well promote it now. April 25th and 26th at the Den Theater.
I'll be there.
Me too.
I will be there.
Do you know, I saw Kamau do his very first set ever, his first open mic set.
Well, I've never seen him live, but I'm just there for you. So
there you go.
Yeah,
let's all go.
Because I'm free. I'm free in April, so I'll be there.
All right. Know your schedule. Well, tomorrow, are you free tomorrow? Because tomorrow is the Jefferson Park Sunday Market. Not tomorrow, Sunday. See, I said Sunday. It wasn't even the word for tomorrow. Merril Miller. We have a collaboration with the Northwest Side Farmers Markets, and Merril Miller is the manager for the Jefferson Park Sunday Market. How are you doing tonight, Merril?
I'm doing okay, although you had me freaking out for a moment there. I'm like, no, it's not tomorrow.
I know. I caught myself in the sentence. I was like, wait, wrong day. I'm excited to see everybody on Sunday, and we will be at the Irish American Heritage Center, correct?
Yes, it's going to be a little different than our previous winter markets, but I know at the Heritage Center they are super excited to have us join them for this season. And don't get me wrong, we love our friends over at Copernicus. They were just like really, really booked this winter. So, happy for them, but, had to come up with some other plans, so here we go.
And I'm so happy that we made this collaboration with them during the pandemic. We had originally done during the pandemic, we did, I don't know if you did any farmers markets, Ken, during the first summer of the pandemic, where we had just cars that had come up, we had their boxes prepared, and we kind of just...
Oh, that's awesome.
They had their orders in and everything, but it was blazing hot on this black top, and it was a lot to coordinate. And then because Merril had to be nimble with, is it going to be outdoors, is it going to be indoors? That's how we ended up, right, Merril, collaborating with the Irish American Heritage Center?
It was actually 2021 when we wound up at Heritage Center. The 2020 was when we did the drive-through parking lot one.
Yeah, we were at Sears. That's what I'm saying. We did that one summer, and then we didn't know what was going to happen the following year. And I think it was just a brilliant idea to do it at the Irish American Heritage Center. It's a great collaboration.
Yeah, because, when we had to start the planning and make our reservations and stuff is in February. And now, of course, as we know, by June, pretty much everything had changed and opened up. But we had no way of knowing up until 2 days before we opened. And so that year... the Heritage Center very graciously availed us of their parking lot. And, from there we had the option to do anything we could possibly need to do.
Yep.
So that was great, and they've loved having us. But, they want more of us. So here we are.
Plus, we get to have cocktails. They have the pub will be open starting at 11 o'clock on Sunday.
Oh, well, I'll be there.
Come on.
That's all I needed to hear.
Yes.
And there will be some great brunch options because we've got not only Tamales Express with their wonderful stuff, but also Urban Dining League with their sliders and miscellaneous.
So good.
All kinds of brunch options. And making a special appearance is going to be, I lost her name, Luciana's Kitchen.
Oh, nice.
Because she's been kind of taking a little bit of time for herself on Sundays, but we had an opening this particular market, and she's happy to fill it in. She's got some amazing empanadas in general, but for Sundays during the market, she often has an array of breakfast options. So if you like your empanadas, but with egg or egg and sausage, or, there's several varieties. So that's going to be available too. And then, as if that wasn't enough, we've also got the Eating Well is joining us. And so mostly they're going to be selling, actually similar to Luciana's, frozen ready to take home. So you can have, treats and snacks and whatever for your holidays. But also Eating will have the availability to do stuff on site.
Excellent.
So,
very cool.
So all kinds of options. And if that's not enough vegan and or veggie options for you, we've also got Molly's Foods coming out with their vegan egg rolls. Now, that's going to be frozen to take home, but they are great for meals. They are great for snacks. They are great for appetizers. You name it, and especially if you've got an air fryer, they're fantastic heated that way. They can be heated in a regular oven too, but air fryer is definitely the way to go if you've got that option.
And as the holiday market, it gives people an opportunity to stock up on some great gifts. I'm putting together baskets of, because I've been, thrift store shopping, and I'm getting like baskets, like put things together, but with like local stuff, like from Rep Chai, from our friends at Pride Roasters, and there's a lot of great other vendors, of course, Collective, and Distinct Bath and Body. Who am I missing? I know I've got some great options.
If you've got a honey lover in your life, we've got the Bee Savers coming out.
Bee Savers.
Amy's Freeze Dried Treats is going to be joining us for their first winter season with us. Now, they've got a really interesting thing. Obviously, it's food, but it's a freeze-dried fruits and fruits options. So, got a craving for mango? There you go. Strawberries, I'm trying to remember what else. Peaches, apples, all kinds of different things. They're really interesting, great to add to, various other snack options. So all kinds of things.
And folks,
speaking of gift options, donut kits from Schoolhouse to Kitchen. They'll be out.
Donuts.
Man.
Yes. Yeah.
That's bad good news.
No one person should have that much power.
No. Donut kid, hold on.
It's too much power. I can't handle it.
And with a wealth of just all kinds of different things, E.E. Mercantile will be out. So they've got teas, tonics, cards, snacks, salves. Our tea
from that Dwayne and I are drinking right now is from E. Mercantile.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Native American tea. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, that sounds good.
I knew there was something I wanted to say when I came in here. I have it right here. It's a little box that I got from E. Mercantile folks who are watching. I knew I could do some product placement.
There you go. Plug.
Right.
See how excited I got.
And, of course, because we're farmers market, we're still going to have produce and canned goods from Ratway Farms. Because they're going to be joining us yet again for winter. They usually don't do summers with us because they take their Sundays off during summer. But during winter, well, hey, limited options. So they're making the best of the availability by joining us.
Outstanding.
Also, for more produce-like things, Fargo Brothers Ferments is going to be back. They joined us for a few dates over the summer, and they've got just all kinds of crazy good pickle options. I think there was kombucha option, too.
You always have a pickle option. Always have a pickle option is all I'm saying.
I'm going to remember that.
Have a pickle option.
Right?
Yes.
And then I think they've got some hot sauces, but I know who's going to have hot sauces is going to be Red
T-Dogs. Oh, sorry. Who's it? T-Dog's not there? Tori's not there?
No. He's taking the winter off.
Oh, that's right. Who's going to be there?
But... yeah, so Orenze from Red Angel will be out. And he's got Nigerian style. Very, very good. Very good.
Oh, my God. Like with chicken, with anything. Oh, my God, that sauce. Yeah, both of them. Because it's more of a vinegary, like a little more thinner of a sauce. T-Dog's has like these thicker sauces that he has. Like, it's just all good. We have the best hot sauces at our market. Am I a dork? I'm a dork a little bit.
Oh, I love hot sauce. So right up my alley.
Yeah.
I love it. Not as much as I used to. I got burned at work.
And he's got different heat levels. So you've got, there's even one I can tolerate. So.
Oh, Merril.
Sorry.
No. Hey, I'm the same way. You put
in sauces. A few people might remember Secret Ingredient, which is always love, of course. But she's coming back out with her array of dips. So it's like sauce blends that can be used as dips. They can be used as cooking starters. You want to make something with a crazy interesting sauce. Here you go. Just throw that in. Good to go.
So many options. Yeah. Ooh.
Speaking of sauces and stuff, we've also got Daisy coming out with their pasta and sauces.
Excellent. So I know a lot of people are entertaining. So coming to the market gives you, like, sometimes people are like, I'll just Google for some ideas. But coming to the market, connecting with communities, supporting small businesses and your local vendors is a great way to also stimulate the creative juices and come up with some new ideas and sort of, tailor your local to your family. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love it, Merril. I'll be there. And the market's...
One last shout-out I got to give is for Bennett's Farm, our meat vendor who joins us for winter. So they've got a huge variety of things, meats, eggs, sausages, all kinds of stuff. And we've also got 2 pet treat vendors joining us. So... something for everybody.
Absolutely.
Quite literally.
I love it. And folks can go to, you can visit either the Irish American Heritage Center's website, which is irish-american.org, to learn more about their location, which is at 4626 North Knox Avenue. You can follow the Jefferson Park Sunday Market on their on the Facebook page. This is the Northwest Side Farmers Market Collective, which will be indoors, so it is rain or shine. So it's not, we're not doing a market outside, folks.
Gotta love indoors.
Plenty of space, and it's a really fun place for your kids to have fun and enjoy themselves. For you to grab maybe an adult beverage.
Oh, kids. There's kids books too.
Oh, kids books, and do we have a musician tomorrow? I mean, Sunday.
Yes, Sunday. It's going to be David Walter Smith.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing wonderful music by David on Sunday as well. I'll see you guys all there. I'll be there. Maybe if you stop by, maybe I got a pen or two for you from the Driving It Home Patti Vasquez show. Just saying, come by and say hi to me, everybody. Merril, I'll see you on Sunday.
All right, awesome.
I can be on time. I can be on time because it starts a little bit later.
Yay.
Yes, hours are 10 to 2.
Yeah,
so
Declan's weekend hours are
on us all.
Yeah, Declan's weekend hours are like 11 to midnight, so it keeps me awake on the weekends. Yeah, so I'll see you on Sunday, my friend. Take care.
Awesome.
Thank you, Merril. Again, that's going to be at the Irish American Heritage Center, and the pub will be open. I'm very happy about that. We'll continue our conversation when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal in studio with Ken Mejia Beal and Dwayne Kennedy. More after this.
WCPT replay.
For people saying Trump's some sort of peacenik.
Oh, yeah. You love that?
Yes, thank you for this tweet. You said Trump bombed Syria, Trump bombed Yemen, bombed Somalia. He assassinated a foreign military leader. In Iraq and Syria alone, Trump drone strikes killed an estimated 13,400 civilians. Trump increased troop levels in Afghanistan by 25%. Trump bragged about relaxing rules of engagement in Afghanistan, which nearly doubled civilian casualties. Trump pulled out of the INF, out of the Open Skies Treaty. Trump loves Putin's slaughter of Ukrainian civilians, calling it genius and savvy. Trump pulled out of the Iran nuke treaty, even though our military insisted Iran was complying, so any future Iranian nukes will be 100% thanks to Trump. Thank you, John Fugel, saying...
Here to help.
Here to help. Here at the Stephanie Miller Show. Thank you.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now at 773-763-9278. Driving it home with Patti Vasquez now on WCPT 820.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our drive home. I'm your host, Patti Vasquez. Joining me in studio is Dwayne Kennedy, Emmy Award-winning Dwayne Kennedy, for his work on United Shades of America with Kamau Bell on CNN. He also worked with Kamau on Totally Unbiased on FX, and they'll be touring together starting in February. But tonight you can see him and hang out with. But by the way, the Ben. What? Can you guys take over? I think that Joan was right. I think that you are filling in for me. The Den Theater is a very intimate space, and so I think that those are both great shows to go to. So you can go tonight, this weekend, go have a laugh, relieve some stress, hang out with Dwayne. I don't have to hang out with him. Give him his privacy and his, there's boundaries. There are boundaries. But that's the thing about comedy. Is it at the Lincoln Lodge tonight at 8 o'clock, Lincoln Lodge tomorrow at 8. You can go to thelincolnlodge.com. But there is something about comedy that, and radio too, I find, where it feels intimate for people.
Very.
Yeah.
And I saw this with Larry Miller. And Larry Miller had been doing this for decades when I saw it. This is like 10 years ago in Georgia, in Atlanta. And he was kind of thrown off by people who were very overly familiar with him and waiting for him outside. I was like, but he also indulged. It's sort of that there's that balance between indulging fans and wanting that distance, right? So it's it's hard to thread that needle, isn't it? A little bit
sometimes, yeah. But like you said, I think comedy, because if you make people laugh, then it disarms people.
That's true.
They're charmed by that, and then they want to tell you that, or it's because it's not as, I won't say off-putting, but if somebody is up doing a dramatic scene and acting, then you probably don't feel like you can just come up to them and
right, well, and to make someone laugh is it's such an involuntary response,
right?
That when you can make some it's the connection.
Yeah.
You made me laugh. That's awesome.
Right. And it's an endorphin release. So it makes you kind of giddy and high and, Yeah.
Have you ever had any scary situations?
Scary? Not really.
Have you had people come to your show every single night the week that you're somewhere? Not that that's scary.
Yeah,
some people are really invested.
I know
Mitch,
you have.
I have, and Mitch Hedberg used to have people that would come to every single show, and then they would because of that familiarity, would yell. There was one night they he'd gotten his haircut in between, and some audience member couldn't handle it. They're like, "You got your haircut," because they'd been there every night.
Oh wow!
And then he said, "Of course I did. If I did not, my hair would be very long." Oh no, he goes, "Oh, I got them all cut."
Oh, right.
He was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever work with Mitch?
Once.
Yeah, me too. Once, me too. And he was somebody with a lot of demons.
Yeah.
I don't even know it was demons. It was, we call it demons, but he was drawn to feeling altered.
Yes.
Some people, coincidentally, I just watched, because I'm on vacation this week, so I just watched a Ryan Murphy show on Truman Capote.
Oh,
and
the Swans?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd never seen it before. It was, I highly recommend it, but to see someone that embattled an addiction and kind of revel in it, I had never, because usually when you watch someone with addiction, they're like, I'm trying to change my life, but Capote was just like, this is who I am, and this is how I'm going to die, and this is it. And it was kind of like, wow, it was.
You didn't see that side of it.
No, it was dark.
I have a friend who, and they're in an industry, so I won't. But I've asked them about it because they used to come into my show with at the other station, with beverages and stuff, and I'd be like, are you like, no, I know, this is who I am. It's part of their personality.
I know a person like that.
But in comedy, we know a lot of people.
I'm sure.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Politics also.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'll keep those names secret until the book comes out. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm not joking.
I don't know. I know. I got a book too. And I had one publisher say we don't have enough money for the lawsuits this thing would bring.
You get the lawyer first.
I know. I got to get the lawyer first. They did. They said we don't have enough money for this.
You get the lawyer first.
Let's get to Dave out in Hoffman Estates. My apologies, Dave. I got off on a tangent. How are you doing, Dave?
Hey, Patty.
Hey.
And yes.
Hello.
Hello there, Dwayne and Ken.
Hey.
Do any of you three believe that after 2028 that this Trumpism or MAGAism is going to be dried up like an old rose of the fall?
Depends.
It depends.
It depends on the next 2 years. I mean, really, the first 2 years, I'll know in 2026 better how some of this might shake out for MAGA. But I don't see, I think what we struggle with is, and someone just texted this, is that we are reasonable. And we assumed there were more reasonable people in the country, and there aren't. Well, reasonable in the sense that they would vote and that they would vote for Congress.
I think a lot of us on the left are so focused on MAGA, which is a horrible thing, but I think our issue is people will not get off of the couch to vote against someone.
Right.
So regardless of how horrible, because I've gotten into these Facebook social media spats where people are like, but Ken, the Republicans, it's like, I don't care about the Republicans. I'm a Democrat. So I'm more worried about how we can fix what we've done and build and grow. So until we collectively as the left, or if we're calling ourselves liberals, Democrats, whatever we are, get out of the mindset of trying to get people to vote against someone and to vote for us,
right?
We're not going to succeed.
Right.
And I still see it. Folks are like, well, Trump is horrible. Great. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. What are we doing? So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, Dave?
Okay,
Sorry, Dave.
No apologies.
The reason I ask this is because Nazism has been around for about 100 years now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's poison, and now this guy set the seed with this one, and I think about some of the younger ones coming up. The ones that will be of the voting age and that come 28 and then because of the fact you get those with the rule, truth isn't true type of stuff. And now we see, Trump is dodging all of these, continuances and dirty as dirt, but he's not going to be going to jail or even pay the price for it.
Dave, I have to take a break. But I don't want to end this conversation because you struck a nerve with me. Not a nerve, but just elicited a thought, and I have to remember it after the news. Do you mind hanging on? Because you said something about Nazism being around for 100 years, and it overlaps with something else that happened. And a lot of things. White supremacy is just, so much fun. Let me take a break here, Dave. Hold on. I want to come back to that thought and what you're talking about. And also, what happens next. What do we think is going to happen in 2028? Folks, if you want to join the conversation, 773-763-9278 is the number to join me, Ken Mejia Beal, and Dwayne Kennedy. Dwayne's got 1 more hour before he's got to race over to the Lincoln Lodge, where he'll be performing at 8 o'clock. That's thelincolnlodge.com for ticket information. He'll be performing tonight and tomorrow night. And let's take a break and continue our conversation on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
That is the intro music that was performed, written, and all the things by Steve Goody, who is working on a new theme song for us as we head into the next 4 years. He also has written a theme song for new segments called Am I Crazy? The wonderful giggles that you hear behind me are on the air is Ken Mejia Beal, who is the treasurer for Youth Outlook. Go to youth-outlook.org. Excellent.
And give us some money.
Well, it's a good. I mean, this is when folks, especially the holiday season.
Yeah, we need it.
We need it, and we need families to feel supported. We need people who are coming out to their families at the holidays, perhaps. I have a family member who came out to us during the holiday season.
Beautiful.
And it was, and then we hugged them, and they said they were very dramatic, and then they wanted to be over. It was the way this relative they draped a buy flag on the Christmas tree to let everyone know.
Oh, got it.
They were like, here's who I am, and we were like, oh, and we all hugged them, and they were like, okay, the moment's over. And I was like, this is the most Irish Mexican thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Love it. Love it.
It was like, and so at any rate, just folks, and not every family is like ours.
No.
So please support the work they do at Youth Outlook. Go to youth-outlook.org.
Thank you.
And for good laughs, for a good time, and to enjoy the company from a distance of Dwayne Kennedy.
Boundaries.
No, I'm just teasing.
That's always conditional too.
Right, it is, isn't it? Like,
some people want to stay on there. Some people are like, oh,
yeah.
It's
by choice. Dwayne will be at the Lincoln Lodge on Milwaukee Avenue. That is thelincolnlodge.com for ticket information. That is thelincolnlodge.com. And the address is 2040 North Milwaukee Avenue. If you want to call them, you can call them at 773-251-1539. And don't forget, if you have any questions about anything that I'm sharing, you can always text us at 773-763-9278. And that's the same number you can call on, which our friend Dave from Hoffman Estates, I asked him to hold on. Oh, hi to our friends listening on KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota. In the last hour, our friend Dave from Hoffman Estates called and was talking about, we asked us whether or not we thought, what's going to happen to Republicans or MAGA in 2028. I think that the consensus is it depends on a lot of factors, in particular if we're able to have safe, free elections in 2026.
Well, that too.
That part right there. And then, Dave, you mentioned that Nazism has been around for about 100 years. And I was talking to my guests, Dwayne Kennedy and Ken Mejia Beal, about how that kind of overlaps. The rise of Nazism kind of collides with or is in conjunction with the disassembly of colonialism around the world, whether it's, England and France, all the places where they'd had a stranglehold, and the cultures that had kind of been born under oppression. Mm-hmm. It was a very tumultuous time. So you have then white people around the world like, well, I thought we were in charge kind of mentality or energy, and not all white people.
That's the
thing is I know when people get upset, like this whole idea of I wasn't. We're talking about the history that's happening in real time,
and it's a system that's put in place by a few that the many benefit from.
Correct.
So that's the thing. It's a few of the Europeans who put a system in place that following Europeans can then benefit from.
I always say if when you make a generalization like that, the person that says, but not I, it's kind of like, well, maybe it is you. Because, and the reason I say this, I have so many friends that will say, oh, men are trash. I've never once gone, excuse me, I'm great It's like, okay, well, some men are. I get it.
Right.
Like,
that's a really good point.
Yeah, it's like, you're not talking about me.
Right.
Well, because you're listening with empathy. I think that we've talked about this before. You know that person's been through some things.
Right.
And so you're there for them. Like, I never get the sense from either one of you when I share a story that like, well, maybe, you took it the wrong, always that person, like, maybe you took it the wrong way or that kind of thing.
I think sometimes some stories you say is like, man, that has been me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've been that. So I can't get on my sanctimonious high. Well, how can you?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a special kind of a-hole that centers themselves in everything.
Right.
Yes.
And when you don't center yourself, it's like, oh, well, yes, this is what the world view is.
Yep. Right.
It has nothing to do with me.
Right.
Yep.
But
Dave, you're still on the line. Dave, are you there? Does that? Yeah. So that's what I wanted to come back to was when you mentioned the rise of Nazism over 100 years ago, and again, like some of the things that we've seen and just doesn't click for folks is manipulating emotions, harnessing rage, using propaganda, othering people, diminishing people, marginalizing them. And the thing is, we know that there are so many people who deny the Holocaust, but what's crazy about that, they either deny it or say that Hitler didn't go far enough. Like, what? I can't. What is it? Right, Dave?
And you can't even pick which one is worse.
Right.
No. Right. Anyway.
Well, in 2016 in Charlottesville, I believe they marched looked a bit like Hitler's brown shirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, and they said, what were they chanting? Do you remember what they were chanting?
I don't.
Jews will not replace us.
Jesus.
Okay. Yeah. How? I mean, like, what? How? How are we here again?
Well, I just saying that, that will make it a lot of us talk, well, can't wait till 28, can't wait till 28. How do we know? I mean, some of our so-called leaders now didn't stand up to, all these, like the Dick Durbins and all these people that feel pretty safe. They didn't stand up when they could have been counted, to go up against this, during the campaign season,
Right.
We're going to count on these people again.
Right. I wonder this, though.
Who are the young Turks who got coming up that want to voice an opinion?
I will say this.
That's right.
Because it's something you're saying, Dave, and it's also something, Patty, you just mentioned, is how are we back here?
Yeah.
And I honestly believe we are back here not because of the wrongs in the world. I believe 20% of the world's population are probably really bad people. Mm-hmm. And I believe 20% of the world's population are probably really good people. The rest of us tend to fall in between the rest. The problem is there are so many moderate people that want to not have conflict. So they allow really bad things to happen to keep the peace. And then it boils over, it becomes acceptable, and now we're back here. The problem is the people in the middle, the moderates, don't speak up. And we're here now.
I saw something like this today. I was reading something about, with the overturning of the decision in the pharma. I think it was in Georgia. They came down against Purdue. It was a Supreme Court that basically nullified the decision. And after all the work, after all the pushback, all the heightened awareness of it, and people are like, "Look, of course they want you to believe you have a shot at making a difference because you're." And that, speaking to the moderates, if you just work within the system,
you can't.
And my son has been telling me this for years. Like, he gets so frustrated with me where I'm like, well, you have to work with what I've said this out loud. You have to work with what you have. And what we have are Democrats and Republicans who are willing to be bought by corporations and billionaires. And it's not going to move. I told you earlier, Lindsay LaPointe, when she was asked about health care in Illinois, she's like, well, there's not really a lot of energy to make any changes. Right? And that's my state representative who I ran against because she sounds like not that her voice sounds like that, but I mean, everyone knows who I ran against. I don't think, but I mean, like, she's just, I mean, and whatever, I'm sure she's a perfectly fine person, pushing the button at the right vote, but she's not in there with her hair on fire and turning back corporate dollars, right? The
problem is we do not have enough elected officials that hair is on fire because the way our country, our government is set up is the folks that can afford to be in office full time are the people that don't give a damn about the working class because they're not working class anymore.
Yes,
they're lawyers, they're consultants, they're career politicians.
They're dating the publisher of Capital Facts. I'm sorry, what?
Oof. So
they're together. It's not like it's not public knowledge.
But no, that is the problem.
Yeah,
is we don't have enough working class folks in office. And I will get on my soapbox for 30 seconds and say I am so sick of moderate Democrats who brag about how they reach across the aisle and they work with these Republicans and they go to lunch and it's wonderful. And I'm starving. I can barely afford to keep the lights on. Yep. I'm worried about social injustice. I'm worried about getting pulled over and shot by a cop any moment now.
Yeah.
And you're talking about your Red Lobster date with a Republican that doesn't care about gun violence?
Yes.
Like, I want you to reach across the aisle and smack some sense into them, not reach across the aisle and invite them out to dinner. But we are not electing the right Democrats because Democrats are afraid of primaries. Democrats are afraid of conflict.
Yeah. They should all be primaried. Everyone should be primaried from within our own party, which is why I friggin' ran. Like, don't you were appointed. Yes, I'm sorry, Dave.
I'll clear out with this one for you and Dwayne and Ken. We're not necessarily getting the best and the brightest. They don't exactly want to put their family into that giant fishbowl either.
Yeah.
You know, so listen, I'll let you guys go so somebody else can get some time here. But thanks for taking the call.
Nice talking to you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah. I feel like you blushed during that. Look, if someone's going to intimidate me at my job, I can call them on it. I'm just saying.
Oh, no, that blush was no. But what I will say, because yeah, I mean, you said stuff, so I'm going to say stuff too. When I was the former chair, I'm the former chair of the Democratic Party of DuPage, and that was a huge thing for me, is I had folks going, Ken, people are running against people. And you have to...
Meaning Democrats running against the chosen ones, the anointed. They're anointed Democrats.
No, you have to do something. And I said, what do... So you want me to be a fascist like you?
Yes.
And then it's like, oh, name calling. Oh, my God. Clutch the pearls. It's like, no, we live in a democracy where people can run for office.
Yes.
And if the general public wants a switch, they will vote for the other person.
Yep.
Stop interfering in primaries. This is what turns Democrats off.
Yes.
This is why young people stay home, because the system is rigged. It's rigged. And even right now on the way in, I'm not saying anything negative about Nancy Pelosi. I heard she was in the hospital. I hope she gets well. God bless her. But with that said, I also read that she's trying to block AOC from ascending to a position. It's like, this is the problem.
The oversight. She's supposed to chair the oversight committee.
And it's kind of like, so here we are after another huge loss, and we have a very elite politician with a 20-year-old haircut trying to keep a woman of color out of an office. It's irritating. Like, this is the problem.
Here we go again.
And now I'm done getting off the soapbox.
Well, he's right. I mean,
so irritating.
Institutionalized Democrats, the machine. We call the machine. What we call the machine in Illinois. When I said I was interested in running because there was a vacancy, right, and because I was friends with the rep, and I hadn't thought about running, I was encouraged to run by the rep at the time because our state senator had decided to take a position as a judge. So I was first encouraged, but then they start looking at the long game. Like, people start looking at what their power position is and how that plays out. They start gaming it out, and they realize, and literally I was told by the committeeman of the 45th Ward in his backyard, and he's like all very proud of himself. He's like, I realized I had 47% of the weighted vote, and I had something here, like literally like Rob Blagojevich, like he had something to he had leverage with it, and because remember he said this thing is effing golden, right? With the and I was told that if I ran for that seat, it would be political suicide. Like, I was intimidated by that, and even now in my job during the day, because of who the incumbent is and who she dates, I've gotten several calls to our office about things that I say about her. Oh, yeah. And here's the thing I want to ask that person. How much louder do you think I'm going to be if I get fired? Well, I mean, come on now. Well, let's check that one out.
Well, no, trust me. I've said things on social media, and I have a group of sophisticated ladies that like to monitor me and tone police me, and I'll get a text like, Ken, how could you say that on social media? Listen, lady. You don't like what I say, unfollow. Yes. Let me just block you.
Yeah, block me.
Make life easier. Let me just block you, and then I won't bother you, and you can go to your little high tea with your pearls, and I'll keep doing what I do, which is fighting for the people. Yeah. Because at the end of all this political strife and struggle, the single mom at home that can't afford groceries doesn't give a damn about all this other stuff.
Yes.
The working people don't care about all this stuff. They want to know why they can't afford eggs, why is gas so expensive, why they can barely afford their property taxes, why they can't afford proper medical care. So while all these elite politicians are fighting for power, the actual people on the ground are suffering, and then we turn around and we say, why can't we get our people to the polls? Because you forgot about them and all your own BS. It makes me angry. It makes me angry.
Standing ovation. You can tell that me and Ken have been through some things.
Yeah.
We are in a support group. Sponsored by Kettle One and Lemons.
SqueakyWheel.com, everyone. SqueakyWheel.com. More. That's our support group. That should be our support group. The Squeaky Wheel.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We should.
The Squeaky Wheel.
Happy hour once a month.
I'm just saying. All right. Yeah, we got a lot of folks.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Let's take a break here. We're in studio with comedian, Emmy Award-winning Dwayne Kennedy. His show tonight is at 8 o'clock at the Lincoln Lodge. You can go to thelincolnlodge.com for more information about tonight's show and tomorrow night's show. Also go to youth-outlook.org for information about how you can support their mission to help families and individuals who are living their true selves and loving who they love.
Yes.
This is Ken Mejia Beal, treasurer of that organization. Also want to let folks know that tomorrow I will also be at there's an open house tomorrow for the folks that print the shirt that I'm wearing. It says STFU about Chicago. You don't even live here. It has the symbol of Superdog on it.
I was wondering what that was. I was like, who's Stu?
STFU. It's cursive. Young folks don't know how to read cursive anymore. STFU about Chicago. So Hairbrained is having their open house tomorrow, and you can buy some holidays. They also, I don't know if I want to talk to these guys about what they also make for women who are going through their time of the month, but maybe they make period panties that have graphics like Shark Week and The Shining, like the elevators are opening, and they're freaking fantastic.
Now I'm blushing.
Yeah. I mean, how brilliant is that?
Yeah, it's a good one.
I love that. That's awesome. So Hairbrained, you can find Hairbrained online, and Hairbrained, I'm trying to find their address. Tomorrow, they're on the Northwest side. They're right over here on Montrose, and again, their open house is tomorrow, and I'll be there. I think their open house starts around 10 o'clock. I'll have more information for you in a few moments, because apparently I can't find their... Oh, here it is. Open house. I got it. Hairbrained open house from 10 to 2 on Saturday, and from 2 to 5 on Sunday. They're going to have all kinds of deals on shirts, undies, babies, onesies.
Oh, I'm in.
But not all of it is vulgar stuff like the things that I wear, like STFU. You don't even
that's
live
vulgar?
here. That's Hairbrained. I know. STFU.
That's a low bar.
We're taking calls when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, and we look forward to hearing from you. And KTNF AM 950. You guys have to text because you're hearing me later. You know how it works.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now at 773-763-9278. Driving it home with Patti Vasquez now on WCPT 820.
Seriously, someday I'm going to record the off-air during commercials show. It's going to be called During the Break. We have two things. We got Squeaky Wheel and DuringTheBreak.com. Let's get to our calls. Max in North Carolina has been on hold for a bit. You want to talk about health care? Hey, Max, you're on with me and Ken Mejia Beal and Dwayne Kennedy. What's on your mind, my friend?
Hi. Okay, so anyways, you're talking about North Carolina and Raleigh, something about it. But back in when we had Pat McCrory in office, okay, we used to go up there and we had a thing that was called the Poor Man's March and Moral Monday rallies, and we're trying to push health care for everyone in North Carolina, and better wages and all that other stuff that that Democrats or liberals or whatever tries to push. But okay, so once we got rid of him, because we did work very hard every year. Well, they were up there every Monday. I didn't go every Monday. I didn't go every month, but every year I was up there, and we had big rallies and we're protesting and stuff. We finally got rid of him. We had him in Charlotte. We had him in Durham. We had him in Asheville, and once we got rid of him, the problem didn't go away. we still had the same problem that we had back then. Now it's even worse because now we have, I think it's 1 in every 4 persons in North Carolina is in debt, has health care debt.
Yeah.
And
I believe it.
And then we have 1 million still, I think there's 6 million people, somewhere around there, 6 million, 7 million. 1 million people do not have health care. 40% of them live in poverty. Okay, this is back somewhere around 2000. You know, I was in Edenton. That's where the old Capitol was at. And we go around and we talk to people about, you know, voting and stuff like that. And when we were over there, I was talking to this lady. She was like 64 years old. She had 3 jobs. Okay, and she needed an operation. Her husband died. She lived in a trailer, and she was still going to vote Republican. Okay, because she gave up. Because she gave up on the Democrats. And, you know, after going through all this stuff that I voted for Cornel West. After going through all this stuff that we went through, you know, I came up today, this is my belief from some time ago, is what we have now are white primaries. And I don't know if you people, type it in, you'll see what white primaries are. It's when white people were only allowed to vote in the primary. That way the white people got the person that they wanted to vote. They wanted to be in office. And then after that, everybody else could get in and vote. And I was thinking, I bet you any money, if nobody voted, okay, because right now we have 40% of Americans don't vote anyways, at least 40%. So if everyone didn't vote and we just let these clowns just vote themselves into office, we'll have the same situation we have. No health care, low-paying jobs, more jobs, but more low-paying jobs, and wars. Okay, wars that according to the people that I spoke to, Democrat, Republican, Independent, and I go to the poorest places in North Carolina, that they basically do not support the war. They do not support the war in Ukraine, and the ones who were voting against Biden, that's what they were voting against. And then the other ones, they can't believe that Biden is giving a 2,000-pound bomb to drop on a child. And everybody's still acting like if nothing's happening. And this right here, this is a moral thing for all of us, you know. And I don't know if anybody has ever read, but before every human who believes justice and decency, it's about humanity. And I'm talking about the Palestinian people that we're paying. The Israelis could not do this, what they're doing, if we were not paying for it. This was
thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it, Max.
Thank you, Max.
And this is the thing that was so hard, right? Is that I agree with Max. This is a moral issue.
It is a moral issue.
And, you know, again, and he's right, dropping bombs
is wrong.
And the thing was, the reasonable part of us was like, it's only going to be worse with them. That's the only moral ground we had at all, because we couldn't push to, you know, Democrat. I mean, like, there were Democrats inside that are like AOC and Jay Paul and a lot of them, and Bernie Sanders. Yep. But that's like we couldn't. I remember leaving the DNC, and a young woman was being asked on her way out how she felt about the speech, and she goes, "It was basically pandering to college students to even mention Gaza." And we really only, I mean, that was the thing. We couldn't convince people that we're not doing great, but it's going to be worse. It was the only argument we had, really.
I was a co-host for a couple of fundraisers. I co-hosted a fundraiser for Representative Cori Bush from Missouri, and one for Jamal Bowman in New York. They came to Illinois, and the emails that I got from people were so negative because they were both very much anti-war. They were, you know, and it was crazy to me because this is a moral issue. Mm-hmm. I am against bombing people. Like, at a baseline, I just don't, I think is wrong. Mm-hmm. So when we start to engage in conversations about who is okay to bomb and who is not okay to bomb, we're not doing our job. As screw parties. We're not doing our good job. We're not doing a job as decent human beings.
Right.
Like, that's a decent human being thing. This whole, the Gaza, Israeli, is such a complicated issue because you can't really speak freely without being labeled something that you're probably not. So that's why, at the end of the day, we, as Americans, I believe morally have an obligation to, at the very least, use our voices to talk to our elected officials about where we think this is going wrong.
Yes.
I think that at a bare minimum, we should have a right to say, listen, Congressman, whoever, I would like if my dollars did not go to bomb children.
Yes.
It doesn't make me any of those bad things, but I think at a bare minimum, I should be allowed to say that.
Right. And I think the argument that an AOC made this case was that you have the space to make those comments, those protests under President Kamala Harris in a way that you might not under President Trump.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree.
And that was, we couldn't convey that we could not get that across to a lot of young folks.
Well, I think it was the young folks, but I also think that as a party, collectively, we kind of thumbed our nose at the Muslim community.
Yeah.
I believe that the Muslim community was incredibly dismissed during this cycle. I think it is shameful. I was a part of so many groups where the protesters would show up and they would be like, well, we have to get security because the protesters. And it's like, oh, so we, Democrats, are going to call armed police officers on protesters because they're against bombing children. That's what we're about to do? I'm not a part of this.
Before we take a break and we call our guest who's running for a congressional district in Florida because of an appointment that Donald Trump has made. I do want to say I got a phone call. I don't know if I told you this when I was in Los Angeles. I think I told you I was in Los Angeles the night that they opened fire with rubber bullets on students at UCLA. And my son messaged me from his campus and he goes, hey, is it okay if I get arrested tonight?
Absolutely.
And no, because I was like, well, your dad's got your brother, and we got a lot going on right now.
Sorry, don't listen to me.
Could you wait till I come home? Could you wait till I come home?
Can you postpone the arrest?
Could you please wait? And I called a local alderman. I was like, hey, do you know if anything's happening tonight? How much trouble is he in? I'm just saying. Yeah. At any rate, yes. Yeah, if I were home, I would 100%.
Yeah.
I'm with you, sweetie.
I'm all for it.
Go get arrested. Protest peacefully.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have bail money, so it might be in a day or two. At any rate, let's take a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk to Josh Weal, who's running for Florida's 6th district. That is going to be coming up on April 1st because the current Congressman Mike Waltz has been named as a cabinet position to that position by Trump. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis St. Paul. In studio with guest co-host Ken Mejia Beal, treasurer for Youth Outlook. Go to youth-outlook.org for more information. And Dwayne Kennedy, comedian Dane Kennedy. Wow, see? I was so close.
Dwayne Kennedy.
It was too fast. Comedian Dwayne Kennedy will be at the Lincoln Lodge this evening at 8 o'clock and tomorrow at 8 o'clock. You can go to thelincolnlodge.com for ticket information. It's weird when I talk like that. When I slow down, I'm very aware of it. It's a lot.
Oh, I think it's kind of cool.
I like that.
Dwayne will be at the show would go on forever if I talked like that.
Welcome to NPR.
Dwayne will be at the Lincoln Lodge. Go to thelincolnlodge.com for ticket information. Coming up in February, he'll be touring with Kamau Bell, who, along with Kamau, they are Emmy Award winners for their work on the United Shades of America on CNN. We'll be right back after this. I'll talk normally in a moment.
Hey, Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
Listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez on WCPT 820.
Really, someday we will have the podcast during the break, conversations during the break.
I will need my lawyer present.
Same.
I will need my lawyer.
Same. Let's say we're going to talk to a candidate for the 6th congressional. If they might be busy because we're also on a different time zone. So you never know. Sometimes I remember because I used to host an overnight show. There would be people who were like, "Oh, I thought you meant noon, not midnight." And the phone's not in service. Oh, okay. Well, then we might not be talking to this candidate. Let's get to let's see who's been on hold the longest. I can tell who's been on hold the longest. Isn't it kind of fun? So that would be Roosevelt in Chicago. Hey, Roosevelt, you're the lucky winner of being the most patient. How you doing? Are you there, Roosevelt? Hi, Roosevelt. Unmute us if you'd like to join the conversation. I have everything. I see all my lights are working. Are your lights working? Push the microphone button. Okay, Roosevelt, my friend, I'll come back to you in just a moment. Sometimes Roosevelt's doing other
washing
things.
dishes.
Washing dishes, having dinner.
Doing
driving
his taxes.
He's
Let's get to yes?
Renaissance man.
He's a Renaissance man. Let's get to Matt, who wants to talk about the farmers of America. What's on your mind?
Hello, folks. Hello, Patty.
Hi.
Hello.
Ever since about a month ago now, I've been getting progressively more and more pissed off at the absolute stupidity of not only the people who drive in the city of Chicago, but the people who voted for this, trying to not get in trouble with the FCC for Patty, this delightful human being who may or may not call himself a dictator. So
I like how you really hit the dictator part of that. That's right. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That was well done.
But to the farmers of America, I have a question for you. How do you spell the word stupid? Because I spell it farmers of America.
Wow.
You people may be, more than anybody else, the dumbest people to vote for this man. For the simple reason that he's going to obliterate your business more than anybody else. And we sat there and we told you for 8 years that he was going to obliterate you. Oh, he won't do that. Oh, well, he's gonna get rid of our workforce. Oh my God! Why didn't anybody tell us? You're idiots, and you deserve every single thing that comes your way. Every lost wage, every shut down field, everything you can't fix because you don't have enough people working on your farms. All of it. You people disgust me. Why? Because you're the only ones with any damn sense, and you still wouldn't listen to anybody but yourself. You're morons. But, Patty, I do hope you enjoy your weekend. And I do miss hearing you at night. Well, thank you. Love you lots.
Love you, too. Matt just I'm just going to walk off into the weekend.
That was a good one. He's right.
That's also another thing of tunnel vision. Yeah. I think everyone warned everyone about Trump. But now that he's actually doing what he said he was going to do, there's people like, oh, no, this is going to impact me.
Well,
yeah. Congratulations.
Well, and here's the thing. I had not even heard that news story that was at the top of the hour. I let the AP run today because it was the first broadcast I have heard where they have not talked about felon Trump in, I don't know how long, because the top of the news story, did you hear this? The Texas AG, right, Paxson, is suing a New York doctor for providing abortion pills across state lines. This is broke at 4:50. He's filed a lawsuit alleging she violated state law by prescribing abortion medication to Texas via telehealth appointments. Both surgical and medication abortions are banned in Texas, and this will be the first lawsuit to see what happens when state abortion laws conflict with federal laws.
That's why we have to codify everything.
Yes.
I don't think...
But that's the thing. But again, this goes back to moderate Democrats.
Yes.
Just operating and also...
I hang out with the Republicans. We have a great time. Great. People are dying. Congratulations.
Sending out scary emails.
Yes.
You better donate now, otherwise they're going to take away our abortion rights.
Right.
They ran. That was how they made money.
Yep.
And did not codify when we had the opportunity.
And we should have. I've been called, and I'll own this. I think at one point in my life I was a moderate. I'm gonna say maybe at one point because I was young and I didn't know any better. I am so not a moderate anymore because I can see that my moderation was really just my way of trying to keep the peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I am here to disturb the peace now, and I no longer care. Maybe it's coming with age. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it's like, guys, I don't want to be friends with people that are literally laughing while we have women and childbearing people dying.
Yep.
abortion is not a bad word. Abortion is a necessary medical procedure. And I also believe in America, the land of the free, people should be allowed to create a family when and how they want to.
And if
they want to.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, the fact that we're talking about it in 2024 is insane to me.
Crazy.
Like, if you don't want an abortion, don't have one. Like, don't have one. My God.
Well, two things can be true. You all can be right and still be crazy.
Fair.
Yeah.
Let me get to...
I mean, not you all. Us.
Collectively.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Living in the crap.
Well, did you hear that Trump said yesterday, I don't know if you can really do anything about grocery prices.
Yep.
So there you have it.
And you never could.
But you said, and that's the thing, when you appease and appeal to fanatics, you better give that fanatic every single thing that they want and expect, because one thing less than the thing that they expected from you, and then they turn on you.
Yes.
And then they turn on the government, and they go back to climbing walls and throwing bricks and whatever they do.
You mean going on the tourists? The tours of... the tours.
They
the
launch
wonderful tour.
They launch a massive tourist stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tourist.
Oh boy. Let's take a break and continue our conversations. Let me see what I'm trying to find out if we have the information for our guests we were supposed to have. Hopefully we'll be able to reschedule. I'll send this along to Lady B. We'll see if this number works, and we'll take our calls from Roosevelt and Jeanette in just a moment. We're in studio with Ken Mejia Beal, treasurer for Youth Outlook. Go to youth-outlook.org for information about their mission to help families and individuals who are expressing themselves the way they feel the most themselves, really, and loving who they love. Dwayne Kennedy, being himself, at the Lincoln Lodge tonight. Go to thelincolnlodge.com for ticket information for tonight's show and tomorrow night's show. More after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota. See, I slowed down so I can get it all in there.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Home with Patti Vasquez on WCPT 820.
We are so thrilled we were able to connect with our guest, Josh Wheel, who's joining us on the line, who's running for the 6th Congressional District in Florida. Josh, thank you so much for joining us. You're on the air with Ken Mejia Beal and Dwayne Kennedy. Thank you so much for running, first of all. How are you doing tonight?
Thank you.
Good. It's been a long week. First full week of the campaign. I've got one more week till my leave of absence kicks in. So, it's like 2 full-time jobs. But it's been great, exhausting but great.
Well, tell us a little bit about your background and what you're taking time off to focus on your campaign and rising to public service.
I work in public education. I've been in public schools since 2012. Math teacher, science teacher. The last few years, I've been in school leadership, instructional coaching, student services, MTSS. A lot of hats because every year we have fewer allocations. So a couple of years ago, 3 different people wore these hats. Now I wear 3 of them. But really, one of my main jobs is I support teachers and I track all of our data, keep an eye on all the kids across the school, how they're trending, performing, and what type of support or interventions what we need to do to help them when things aren't working.
I love your website already. I'm sorry, continue. I don't want to interrupt you because
Thank you.
I love the idea, the message of I'm not running against someone, I'm running for you.
Love that.
That's exactly what I told people when I was running for my community. And so tell us a little bit about what was that flash moment for you? Where like, this is a moment I need to step into the field of battle.
So a couple of years ago, I wanted to get involved. I got, like most progressives, tired of feeling like I was picking the better of 2 bad choices. I wanted candidates who supported the things that I knew we needed. I wanted candidates who supported Medicare for all. I wanted candidates who were progressive and wanted to fight for the people, social programs, things that would benefit the community. I wanted to see, $80 billion go towards improving schools and, eliminating homelessness, not, sending bombs to a nuclear superpower so that way they could commit genocide. And I started a U.S. Senate campaign, built it up in my garage, got a lot of great young volunteers, organizers involved, and I spent 18 months traveling the state, visiting all 67 counties, working with people everywhere from Pensacola to Miami, and making a lot of great connections, getting out to voters, spending a lot of time talking to people. One of the big things I learned was that in our rural counties here in Florida, they're desperate to talk to someone, to have their questions answered. Here in Florida, the state Democratic Party has really abandoned, what we call red counties, in terms of supporting down ballot candidates, in terms of, investing in the communities and getting out and building a voter base. And so the Republican Party may be a lot of things, but they're not stupid. When we don't invest resources, they don't invest resources. And, I'd visit some of these places and, people would, be doing meet and greets in parks and things like that. And Republicans would come up to me and they'd be like, I tried calling my state rep, my state senator, my U.S. congressman, my city council. Like, no one returns my calls. No one will talk to me. Like, it doesn't make sense. And most of the stuff with politics doesn't make sense to them because they've been fed 24 hours of misinformation for the last 2 decades. And, they're desperate to, have things make sense, to, understand or to, why it isn't working, why they're not getting support, why their tax dollars don't benefit them, why they still have these problems, even though they keep voting for people who are saying that their lives will get better. And so when this race came around and we saw that Waltz was being nominated for or appointed National Security Advisor, I had all those connections and I started doing some pre-organizing, meeting with people and, discussing, what do you think? Do you think this is a race for me? And, I got a lot of great feedback. A lot of people who said that, this District 6 is one that hasn't even had a Democrat in it half the time for the last few cycles. When it does, it's very poorly funded, very poorly supported, and needs someone who can get out and talk to Republicans, which, the bench doesn't go deep enough for us. We don't have enough Democrats who are good at that. We don't have enough candidates who know how to get out and, talk outside of our insular circles. So, I thought I had a couple months. DeSantis has done nothing but drag his feet every time there's been a need for a special election here in Florida. But during Thanksgiving week, Monday, 4:59 p.m., right before end of business, he put out a press release that, the ballots would finalize in a little under 11 days. And, if anyone wanted to run in this race, you had to collect thousands of petitions or raise $10,000 and God be with you. But we did it.
Congratulations.
Filed and got started the next day. Didn't even have enough time to use Act Blue, which definitely hurt some of the fundraising because people were skeptical of a Google form with a PayPal link on the back end. But,
you're right.
You got to collect your reporting. You got to collect your reporting information before you take their money. And really, we used a lot of blue sky, just reaching out to people, building it up, and it honestly, it never even felt stressful because there was just steady money. It was, $750 to, $1,200 a day coming in, and we were able to write the check and qualify for the ballot, and now running for U.S. Congress.
That's amazing.
That's great.
Have there been Democrats running at all against Waltz in the last several years?
In the last cycle, Bishop James Stockton ran. He had a campaign that over the course of the entire cycle, we've already matched what he raised in the last 2 weeks. So it was not there was not a lot of money. There was not a lot of support there. Unfortunately, he's a great man, but getting your message out ain't free. And, we want to have big events. We want to be able to draw people out so we can talk to them. And, you need to raise money to do that. the cycle before, no one ran. The cycle in 2022, we had three of our U.S. congressional seats in Florida went unopposed, and Republicans walked right in.
Wow.
And District 6 was one of them. Over the last 4 years, they haven't had there hasn't been a contest there. There hasn't been anyone building that community.
And are you getting support? Well, first of all, are there any other Democrats running in the primary, or is it just a runoff election?
I do have a primary, which has actually been a little bit of a blessing in disguise. We didn't know if anyone else was going to be running. I was in communication with our state party chair and head of campaigns, and I know that they didn't have anyone, because about a day before we went and filed, I was getting texts from the state chair like, "Hey, you got the money and you're going to be on the ballot, right? Just wanted to make sure." And then turned out two other people came in, so people who are not, single parents living on a school teacher salary, who can just decide to write the check themselves if they want to. But there doesn't seem to be an organized campaign there. There doesn't seem to be much going on. We feel pretty confident that, what we're building is going to move pretty quickly and smoothly through this primary. But the great thing that I had forgotten about is until, when we activated our Act Blue earlier this week, we're setting the donation limits, and it tells me that, the maximum amount $6,600 for an individual contribution. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's $3,300 is the federal. And then I remembered, no, if you have a primary, you can collect $3,300. You have two elections, so you can collect $3,300 from someone for the primary and $3,300 for the general. So it's actually opened it up for us where, top donors are able to give a little bit more because we have this contest coming up January 28th. So it's been a little bit of a, it seemed like one extra obstacle, but it's been a little bit of a blessing in disguise.
Well, again, congratulations on running. Thank you for taking up the mantle and charging out of the field. I want to encourage folks to visit Josh Wheel. That's WEIL.us. Again, Josh Wheel, WEIL.us. For those of you living in Florida in the 6th Congressional, please pay attention to this race, but we need to pay attention to this nationwide, because this is a path to having more power in Congress. And I know Congresswoman Delia Ramirez is listening, and I would love to have somebody in there also fighting the battle. Josh, we'd love to have you on again soon. We're almost at the end of our show. Is there anything you want to make sure our audience knows before we let you go?
Please, support. This is a race that, the margin in the U.S. House is incredibly narrow. It's 220 to 215. We're going to have 3 to 4 special elections. If we sweep them all or get 3 out of 4, we actually take back the House. And special elections are where this can happen, especially in red districts. We saw it in Alabama in 2018. We saw it a couple of years later in Alaska. This is, there's lower voter turnout, which is not something Democrats usually like, because we say when we vote, we win. But when you're in a district that has a, red advantage on registration, then, cuts it down and makes it an open ball game. So, I've been telling people, I'm not here to give, this guy who is just a vile piece of work. I'm not here to give him a fight.
Right.
We're here to win.
Yes.
We're going to win this district.
That is perfect.
Go get him, Josh.
I can't win all 4 of these, but I'm going to take care of my end on the other. And if we can support the other campaigns as well, we will take back the House. Hakeem Jeffries will be Speaker.
Excellent. Thank you so much again, Josh. We love that you're running. JoshWheel.us. That's WEIL.us. Go get him. We'll talk to you again very soon. We want to help you get across the finish line.
Thanks,
and get this done. Absolutely. Take care. I want to apologize to Roosevelt and Jeanette. I have to run because we've gone over Ken Mejia Beal, treasurer for Youth Outlook. Go to youth-outlook.org and support the work that they do there. And Dwayne Kennedy will be at the Lincoln Lodge tonight, thelincolnlodge.com. Good night, everybody. Randy Rhodes up next, followed by Matt McNeil. Love you, Lady B.